Okay, so in this video, we're going to have a think about what is the gradient of a line, get the idea of what you think the gradient is. And so one of the ways we can define that is the gradient of a line is a measure of how steep the line is or what sort of slope it has, okay? And now I want you to think about in terms of maybe what you're seeing. So you're walking, so imagine this line here, it's nice and straight. You get to this point and you start walking up a hill. And that hill might be something like that, okay? That has a slope, it has a certain steepness. That's going to be relatively easy to walk up. But as you get further, if you come up another place, it has a hill like that. That becomes even steeper. And then you get to something like that where it's really steep. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about gradient, okay? In terms of what you just think about what it means. That's what we talk when we think about how steep something is. So the best way to think of this is the steepness or the slope, as what was said, of a line depends on how far it rises or falls, because you can have a negative slope, rises or falls over a given horizontal distance, over a given horizontal distance. Okay, maybe write that a bit neater. So what that means is what we're looking for here is we've gone, so basically going to look at how far something's risen, so gone up like that over a specific distance. In this case, I'm going to go from there to there. If I did this second one, it would be from here up there. So it's gone that far over that same distance. So this one would have a bigger slope, bigger slope than this one here, okay? So that's what we talk about the slope. Now, what we do have is what we call positive and negative gradients. So let me get rid of some of this because I need some space here. Sorry, it's taking a bit more time. All right, so basically what we're going to look at, if I've got something that looks like this, that's what we call a positive gradient. And if I have something that looks like this, I have a negative gradient. So the way to think about it, there's a couple of ways you can look at this to think about if you see when I go, is that positive, is that negative? Not entirely sure. All right, you can look at it visually and go, if it's going up in that direction, we class that as positive. If we're going down that way, we class that as negative. A more probably precise way of thinking about it is looking and saying, if I'm going across in that direction, because that's what when we look at this, we're looking at going across that way. Let me actually pick a different color. So I'm going across that way. If the numbers are going up, if I'm going up in numbers, so I'm sort of like from here, I'm starting at like y0. So like let's say there roughly, I'm going up to 2.8 or something like that. Okay, so I'm going up like that. Then that is positive. If on the other hand, if I'm still going across, if my numbers are going down, so here it's coming down, it's starting at nearly 3, let's go roughly 3, and it's going down to 0 here, my y values are going from say something more positive to less positive or becoming negative, then I have a negative gradient. So that's the way to think of the two types of gradients. In the next video, we'll look at how you actually can calculate a gradient.